It is Nephra Moore, your spiritual life coach, okay? Your motivator, your inspirer. I'm back as I promised because I stated that I wanted to talk about forgiving yourself. And I'm probably going to talk about more forgiving yourself, probably with my story, to help you better understand how you can actually forgive yourself, okay? So growing up, I was in a lot of relationships that were not good for me, okay? And I kept choosing men that were abusive in one form or another, whether it be physical abuse or emotional abuse or verbal abuse. I was picking those types of men. And ultimately, it got so bad that I started to choose men that were already in relationships, or even already in marriages. Now, I'm not saying this to toot my own horn. I'm not bragging. This is my life story, and I am glad of where I am now versus where I was then. But that's how bad it got for me. And I was always so unforgiving for myself because I felt like I wasn't enough, which stemmed back to my father, which is a whole nother video. But I was really, really beating myself up for the decisions I was making with me. I mean, I was really having the time of my life in my head about what I was doing wrong and why you gonna let that person do this, and you can't keep letting men do that. And then here I am, I'll fall into that same relationship again, right? I had the same man, he just kept coming in different pairs of pants, okay? So it became a real problem. And it really began not only to mess with my self-esteem, because I kept telling myself that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't deserve what I wanted. So I was just accepting anything. Like, to be honest, that's where I was. And I was having a hard time letting that go for myself, because it's like, you see this is not right. You see this is the same man from the last relationship. So why are you dealing with him now again? Right? You stupid, you dumb. Oh, here's my favorite one. You better than this. You better than this, sus. When in actuality, I was not, because I was dealing with the situation. And that, again, gave me self-esteem issues. It also had me falling into a depression because it felt like that I wasn't worthy of love. Because that's what it felt like, that I was not worthy of love. So I find myself in my last married man affair. Yes, I had an affair with a married man. Yeah. Again, not proud, but this is my story. I'm in this last relationship and I am so fed up and so tired. And I can't keep doing this over and over and over and over again. So I had to ask myself, what is the problem, Nephra? What is the problem? Why are you doing this time and time again? Because I was so fed up. But ultimately, I came to the decision that I was really, really angry and mad at myself. I was angry and mad at myself, even in my marriage. I was angry and mad at myself for years, and I did not even know it until I ended up in an affair with this last married man that I was in an affair with. I was so freaking angry, and I really thought it was, stemmed from my daddy. I was like, I have daddy issues, so that's why I'm angry. But I was angry at myself because I was not making the best decisions that I knew were right for me. I was angry at myself because I knew I could do better. I just didn't know how to do better. I was angry at myself because I felt like I was always settling and accepting anything and not getting what I wanted or what I needed. So I was pretty angry at myself to the point where I was mean. Oh, I was really, really mean. I was mean, just junkyard dog mean, as my grandmother used to say. I was really, really mean. So I ultimately figured out through prayer that I was angry at myself and I didn't forgive myself for all the bad decisions that I made when it came to me. I wasn't. I was holding on to it. And because I was holding on to that energy, guys, guess what I kept attracting? The same man. Kept attracting the same man because I'm holding on to that negative energy of I'm going to just settle for this. I'm not going to try to find anything better. I'm not going to work on myself, really. And I wasn't saying this in my head, but I was saying this with my actions and what I was doing. Because you know how people get into one relationship after the other. That was me. I just kept hopping in relationships. Like, whatever. So no, we don't want to do that. So I was angry at myself because I was not allowing myself to really heal like I needed to so that I can find someone specifically, especially wonderfully made for me. Right? So how did I get on the road to forgiving myself? Well, you know me, I'm going to tell you prayer, but here's some things you got to do inside of that. First, I had to get real clear about my anger. I had to tell the truth about what I was feeling. I had to really get down to business and say that I was angry because I don't know what I look like in the eyes of a man. That was a powerful statement for me. I was like, wow. I had to tell the truth that I was angry because I didn't know who I was. I was angry because I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know unconditional love. I didn't know a lot of things at the tender age of what? I think I was like 30 in my early 30s. I just didn't think I knew what I needed to know to be the best me. And I was angry with myself for that. Then that anger turned around to my family because I felt like my family was not there like they needed them to be. I believe my mom did the best with what she could with the choices, but at that time I didn't see that. At the time I was just angry at everybody. It was everybody's fault that my life was falling apart and I took no ownership, and I was mad about that too. But you see what I did there, guys? I told the truth about my emotions. I told the truth about my anger. I told the truth about my broken heart. So you want to go to the road on forgiving yourself? Tell the truth about your emotions and how you're feeling and what's going on and what's happening with you, because that's the only way you'll be able to let go. Okay? After I told the truth, I gave myself the space and the time to let my heart break. That's going to be your second thing to do. After you tell the truth, that's going to hurt like hell. I'm just here to tell you that right now. So you just got to sit there and let the tears flow and cry and scream and kick and holler. Do whatever you need to do to move that anger or that brokenheartedness or that hurt or that bewilderness, that confusion, that chaos, everything that's going on in you. You have to find a way to let it out. And give it its space and give it its time to get that energy out of your body. Because that energy I kept holding on with, that anger, because I keep meeting the same dude in the different pants, that energy kept coming to me because I wouldn't let it go. Because I didn't give it space and time. I didn't let my heart break for every single man who broke my heart. I just moved to the next one. So I had to sit in that pain. And let me tell you something, guys. Let me tell you something about sitting in that pain. Sitting in that pain is difficult. I'm not going to tell you that it was a cakewalk, because it was not. Sitting in that pain had me feeling like I was going to die. Sitting in that pain had me thinking that I was going to have a heart attack because I had a knot in my chest that would not go away because I decided to sit in the pain. It got so bad that I was like, you know what? Bump this. I am not doing this. I am not. But I had already started that journey in forgiving myself. And so I had to just continue because it kept coming up. You know how it is when you don't forgive yourself. You keep replaying it over and over and over and over and over in your mind. You know how it is. You know, you think about that situation and you think about, I could have did this. I should have did that. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I could have said this. I could have did that. You just go over and over in your mind, and it really eats you literally alive. And that's what it was doing. It was eating me alive. And so finally, I had to give all of that energy just to one single moment, or maybe a few minutes, right? I would get into prayer, and then after prayer, I would just let my heart break. I had to let my heart break for every man that told me he loved me and he didn't. I had to let my heart break for every man who used me right? And just, oh my God, I had to let my heart break for it all. And let me tell you something, it is not, let me tell you, okay, it is not easy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy, guys, because I know it is not. Because it has you in a place where sometimes you feel like giving up, where you want to not, well, maybe you want to take your life, right? Suicide is real, okay? I wasn't at that place, so I can't speak to that. But I do think about what it would be like if I wasn't here, okay? So I'm just going to tell you, I wasn't suicidal, but I was definitely in a depression state, okay? So when we talk about telling the truth, whew, baby, it broke my heart, and I had to let my heart break, okay? I had to give all of that pain from the past a time to move through my body and out of my body. And it had got to the point one time I couldn't even get out of bed. I didn't even go to work today. I called off. I'm like, I can't do it. This is too much. And I was like, God, where is the deliverance here? Because I'm waiting. Okay. But here's the thing. I stuck to it because that's really the thing that you have to do. You have to acknowledge the emotion. I had to really acknowledge the emotion and really talk about what it is that I was feeling, why I was feeling that way, all of the emotions that came up for me. I had to really be real specific and give that emotion its time to move out of my body. Yeah, I let it replay in my mind, but I let my heart break too. I felt that pain of something that happened in my past with a young man in my life that did me wrong, or, you know, I felt like we should have made it, or whatever the case may be. I had to let my heart break. And a lot of times we don't give ourselves that space and that energy. We just pick up and move on. Even if we don't pick up and move on and go to another relationship, we just pick up and move on with life, never giving that energy time to move out of your body. I can't say it enough. That is the hardest thing to do. You know, in the spiritual life coaching world, we call it shadow work. That's when you go to the deepest, darkest place and you feel that thing and you really let that energy move out of your body. Now, once you've done that, get up and wash your face. Get up, throw your makeup on, throw your clothes on, do whatever you got to do. Go do something fun for yourself. You know, leave it where you laid it, right? So if you in your room on your floor, you're going to leave it right there in your room on your floor. Leave it right there behind you. And a lot of times you have to visually see that. And sometimes I did. I had to even get up out of bed, I had to visually say out of my mouth and visualize it in my mind. You know what? I'm going to leave this right here. When I get up, I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to go watch my favorite movie. I'm going to go get my nails done, my feet done. I'm going to go do something fun with my kids. I'm going to go out to eat. I'm just going to and just leave it right there. Right? Just leave it right there. And I'll revisit this feeling and emotion tomorrow at 2:00, because that was my prayer time at the time when I was dealing with this thing. I said, I'm going to be back at 2:00 tomorrow. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it right where it is. And literally, guys, I counted them because I was counting down the days, because I'm like, I'm going to see how long it's going to take me to get healed. Because, you know, y'all, we sit up and saying, you know, I was really trying God at his word at that point. I'm like, I'm going to see how long it's going to take me to really get through this thing and forgive myself for this stuff. I got down to business. Let me tell you something. I just thank God for the power of God. I got down to business and it was literally days. Like I want to say maybe 7, maybe 8 days. I was really determined to overcome my past, and not only that, to forgive myself. And I know this sounds like a work, but forgiving yourself is a process because we hold on to so much. Even as children, I had to forgive myself for thoughts as I had as a child. You know, now I was a child, granted, but you still beat yourself up over it. You still beat yourself up, especially those times I was disrespectful and dishonorable to my mother, who's no longer here. Oh, I was just like, okay, I got to do this better, you know. So that's what I want to offer you today. When it's talking about forgiving yourself, you got to tell the truth about your emotions on that. And you got to give yourself the time and the space to move forward. But my third piece of advice is don't stay there. When you get ugly, you know, your ugly cry, and you get down on that floor and you come up and snot and tears is everywhere and all that, get up and wash your face and then go do something that's great. Go be great. Okay, go do something that's fun. Go do something that's going to take your mind off. Watch a movie. Go out with friends. Do whatever you need to do to take your mind off of it, and come back again the next day and give it that space and energy. But don't stay locked there. And the reason why you don't want to stay locked down in that is because it'll keep you down. It really will. All right. The fourth piece of advice is stop the negative talk. When you don't forgive yourself, you saying stuff like, you know what, I knew better. What's wrong with me? Why did I do that? Like, I am so stupid. Oh, I get on my own nerves. That's negative self-talk. Okay? So I'm going to need you to stop the negative self-talk. Stop it. I should have did this. Oh, I could have. Oh, I could have just. Oh, and you think of other ways you could do this, or you can do. Oh, I'm just so mad at myself. Negative self-talk. Stop it. You got to reprogram your mind on the narrative. And what that means is sometimes you got to write it down. Sometimes you're going to have to write down that I am enough. I made a mistake, but I am not the mistake. I know who I am. I love myself. I'm whole. I'm healed. I'm an encourager. Or you know what? I am great. I am awesome. I mean, you really have to reprogram your mind to give it a different scenario. I am no longer broken. Like, you really have to change the narrative to something positive. Okay. Now, a lot of times people want to say, you know, what was the lesson that you learned in this? And I'm not going to say that there isn't a lesson, but what I am going to say is the lesson is you. You're going to learn about who you are. You're going to learn about what you're capable of and how strong you are and how resilient you are and how powerful you are and that you have purpose. I don't really think a lot of times we learn lessons about people, because otherwise, if we did, we would never have our heart broken. We would never get into conflict, and we would never, you know what I'm saying, have hardship with other people. So I don't think there's a lesson to be learned about other people when you're trying to forgive yourself. I think the lesson needs to be you discover more of who you are, or remember who you are and whose you are. Because what's important is that you find the God in you when you are working in forgiveness. You got to. You have to find the God in you. Okay? So I hope that I'm able to bless somebody. Change the narrative. You get to change the narrative here. And that's what I love about forgiveness. You get to see it differently. You get to get it from a different perspective. You get to say, you know what? This is not really what happened. What if it was really this? Because I'm a firm believer for myself that things don't happen to me just to be happen. My life is not coincidental. My life is full of patterns. My life is full of connecting the dots. And a lot of times I always look for what is happening to me, what I'm learning in this moment about me, and how and bringing the good out of me when I do learn about myself. Okay? So I hope that I bless somebody with understanding more of how to forgive yourself. It's hard. That's why most people don't do it. And let me tell you something. Forgiveness for yourself is one of the hardest things to ever do in life, ever. It's hard. And if you don't forgive yourself, you can't forgive other people. So you can hold grudges and be petty and not talk to people simply because you holding grudges against yourself. So how could you possibly forgive somebody else when you don't forgive yourself? I love you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And again, I hope this video helps somebody. Until next time.